Okay, Apple Vision test number 1. I already know that this is going to get a lot of hate, but this is the way of the future, and a lot of times people that do something first face that. So let's do it. So I'm here at this water heater. You see the water was leaking here, water meter. So what I'm going to do first, come over here. I already know somebody's going to get a video of me doing this shit. I probably shouldn't cuss in this, but so I'm going to go ahead and shut the water off first. I've already taken a look at the heater. I have my materials and everything. Shut that off. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and take this in so we can drain this heater. Gosh, this is weird. I already know if my customer's watching me. I know they're probably like, what in the world is this plumber doing? So the first thing I want to do, I'm gonna assess the situation, right? I know I got a gas 40-gallon heater. Obviously it has some sort of tank failure. Pretty clean install here. So I have the water off down there at the meter. The first thing I'm gonna do is start to, actually, I'm gonna take a look at that shut off there. Come in here and go ahead and turn that off, if I can. See, and that's why I went ahead and turned the water off at the meter, because it went, but it was really tough. So I'll probably end up having to replace that, because I don't think that that works well. But shut it off. I'm gonna go ahead and open this. This is a TMP, temperature pressure relief valve. That's gonna drain whatever remaining pressure there is on this heater. I'm gonna let it go out, which there's not a whole lot of pressure because this thing's already been leaking. So let that run out a little bit. Okay, the next thing I want to do is come down here and go ahead and make sure that this heater is turned off. I want to shut off the gas. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit hard to see that part, so but I mean, I got the gas turned off. So next thing, I'm gonna go ahead and drain the heater. Get this hooked up. So. Nice and snug. All right. Go ahead and take this. Put my cord down upside down. My hose. Should have laid it upside down, but no biggie. And his clean out is all the way over there, so I'm just gonna go ahead and drain whatever is left in this over here. A lot of times I'll let it drain out onto the driveway just so we can see, especially if I'm doing a water heater flush. I'll put it on the driveway just so you can see everything that comes out, but not really a big deal here. Go ahead and open this up and start draining what's left in this heater out. Customer said, probably not a whole lot of water left in this heater. What do you guys think? Good thing I drained it before just giving it a shot, huh? The thing with water is, it doesn't take a whole lot of water to seem like a whole lot of water. And if you don't believe me on that, take yourself a 5-gallon bucket or a gallon milk jug and pour it out on your kitchen floor. See how much water a gallon is. Then times that by 40 or 50. If you saw all 40 gallons of that out here, you probably have an entire garage full of water about that thick, deep. So the other thing I can do to help this, I have this open here so it does have an area where it can vent air, right, but I can also disconnect these, disconnect the cold side right here, and that'll help give it another spot so it's not airlocking itself as it's trying to drain, because you can hear it kind of. So that's probably the next step that I'm going to do, is just disconnect the Wabu up there so it can drain easier. Okay. So now I'm going to go ahead and, I'm just too close. I know, man. I need to be close. So, next thing I'm going to do is disconnect the cold here. Seal. Just want to be careful for a bunch of water coming out of this. When you do disconnect it, and if I'm seeing correctly, it looks like there's Teflon tape on that. Straight up. We'll vacuum that up here in a second. That lets this heater drain a little bit better now. Oh, the kitty. So you've seen that I can work with it on, but let's, I think we should look at some of the cooler features. So I'm gonna open some stuff up and then start recording again. I might have to be screen recording. I don't know if I can show you all this stuff all at once, so. So now you're seeing what I see through the Vision Pro. This is the home screen like you have on your iPhone. Obviously everything looks like Apple, big easy apps, and you can kind of see how the apps highlight as I look at them. So I look at the app and pinch my fingers together. If I slide to the right or the left, that slides the apps or the window left or right. Or you look at something and pinch, and that will open the app. This is a camera. This is the camera view, so when you want to record something, most of how this video is recorded is through this function right here. So you press the camera, record, it actually records on the outside, so it's not recording what I'm seeing when I'm recording like that. It's just recording what I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and set up my text messages here. And now I'm just kind of looking for where I want to place these while I'm working. So come over here and set these on the wall like that, and those will stay on the wall. Now I can open up my apps again, and then right now there's no YouTube specific app. There's still a lot of apps that aren't available, so I have to open it up in Safari. It does work pretty good in Safari though, so I'm not real upset by that. Honestly, I think it's a lot easier to type, or I'm sorry, to use Siri on this device than it is to type. So I do a lot of Siri talking. You'll see here the device was struggling for some reason to have me type all of that in, so it just kept turning itself back off. You could actually hear her voice a little bit right there, and that was the microphone in the device actually picking that up through the speaker. So it does have really good audio, but when you do a screen recording like I'm doing at this point in the video, the sound that's recorded is what's playing. So I muted this clip, but if it wasn't muted, you would hear the sound of this right now when you upload this video. I hope that makes sense. So I had to mute it so I could talk about what was happening here, because there was no voiceover. It was just the loud YouTube video. But basically I have the YouTube video. I just found a really quick Lowe's install video. It's not the video that I recommend or anything like that. But yeah, I found an install video, and you'll see I'm going to walk back through here and turn back around, and my window is still there. So something that you could have up kind of showing you. Oh no, is that shark bite? Oh my goodness, I didn't even see that until now. So anyways, yeah, it's a really cool device. So I just started a new screen recording right there. And yeah, just getting some video, trying to, you know, work with this device on. It is pretty big, so it was difficult. I didn't want to scratch it. Obviously, it's really nice looking. There's a lot of sharp metal and big objects around, so not the easiest thing to work with on, but I do see a very strong application here for the workforce. I did struggle with this heater vent for a little bit as it was strapped in the attic, so I went ahead and took the device off so I could get the rest of the vent and everything out of the way, and then here in just a moment it starts back up with me narrating on the job site again. Okay. So I just went and opened up a hose bib, and that relieved some of the pressure right there. Got this disconnected. And the next thing I want to do is disconnect this gas line. This is going to put a little backup branch the other way. Right the first time. This thing's still draining, so next thing I'll do is so somebody put Teflon on that. It was not necessary. This thing's pretty much drained, I think, as much as I'm going to be able to get out of it. Got everything disconnected, out of my way. It's all good. So now I'm gonna go ahead and close this off so it doesn't try to leak whatever's remaining while I remove it. And then I'm gonna get this out of my way. I'll just go ahead and get this out. Well, shoot. Now my dolly's stuck behind my heater. Someone's probably gonna drive by and see me doing this. Like, what is that weirdo doing? Thankfully, I've got my knife on me today. So. Okay, so that means cars drive by so I don't get super judged. So I went ahead and finished opening up the box and went ahead and pulled it out of the closet because honestly I'm afraid to scratch this computer. So moved my hose, went ahead and pulled that out. I like to leave the expansion tank on when I pull them because it gives me extra place to hold on to it. So I tend to leave the expansion tank and the hoses, the flex lines on it. It gives you a nice little handle to grab onto here. Out of the way. Try to lose as least amount of water as we can here. Yeah, this thing's definitely got failure out of the bottom of the tank. Yeah, I know. Plumber's wearing a headset. People are probably like, what the heck? I can't believe people walking around with them headsets on. So disconnected with reality. Oh, shit. Almost lost her. That was my fault, not the water heater there. If I just don't look at people, they'll have no idea what I'm doing, right? Okay, so important part of this that I wanted to cover real quick, a lot of people forget, is pumping up your expansion tank. So the first thing I did when I got here is I took a pressure reading on the house, It was sitting at about 70 psi. So these things typically come from the factory between 40 and 50 psi. Almost 50. So what I want to do here is set it down so it doesn't fall over, but go ahead and get this pumped up to about 80. And 70, so now we got that thing matching our incoming water pressure. So when we put it on, it'll operate as intended. Now I'm just going to go ahead and move this in there. I vacuumed up as much as I could, cleaned up down there, dried it all off as much as I could. Okay, so I got it moved over. Now I need to connect the gas back together and make sure I put a drip leg on that, gas drip leg. And then yeah, I'm gonna hook up, expansion tank will go there, flex line, we'll be good to go. And gas fan. Yeah. I'm going to use gas specific Teflon tape, and those are flared fittings, so there's not going to be any Teflon on that side. Only place you put Teflon and dope would be right here on the non-flared side of this fitting. It's going to go in here. And I need to create a little. Okay, so that took me a second, but got it in. I was struggling with the vent because there's a spot that has to go right into, so, but go ahead and do a little bit of vacuum here, finish cleaning this up, and then got my gas line connected, got a drip leg on it. Yeah, that's about it. So TMP drain, go ahead and get my expansion tank and my 2 Waboos, turn the water on, and get started. Okay, so got everything pretty much hooked up here. Last thing I'm gonna do is just double check and make sure I left that one loose so I could get a little video in here. So again, remember this, you want to snug it up, but you don't need Teflon. You don't need to over tighten it because it's got a gasket in these. So no Teflon, no Teflon. That's old stuff, but I didn't, no Teflon in there, okay? No Teflon. Hooked up, Teflon, no Teflon because of a gasket. Everything hooked up, so next thing I'm gonna do is go ahead and go back over there and turn the water on. And then I'll come over here. This thing is shut off, so I shouldn't have it start filling until I get over here and can start filling it myself. All right, so had to do a little bit of work here, but got everything all connected, filled up. So what you want to do in this situation when you're filling a water heater, what I always like to do is get everything hooked up, go ahead and turn the water on about a quarter of the way, and then open this temperature TMP pressure relief valve. Let the water heater turn it on and let it start filling up. And then once it gets up to here, I shut this down. And while it's filling, it starts building up pressure. So I'm always constantly watching for leaks, checking, tightening anything up as I need to. But once I start getting a lot of water coming out of this relief drain, I'll go ahead and shut that down and have the customer then open up the water, hot and cold, inside the house. And that's gonna go ahead and purge any air that might still be inside this water heater. Once I don't hear the water heater really filling or doing anything anymore, I'll have the customer go ahead and turn the water off, and then I go about the lighting process. So I did already go ahead and light this heater, just kind of in the moment, been trying to get this knocked out. So you want to keep fall on this as much as possible. So you want it to be going downward. And then here, so once I had everything all hooked up, the drip leg, went ahead and turned the gas on. So I turned it on at the control there. And then what you do to light this water heater is you take this cover off right here. There's a little sight tube, little sight window right there. You turn the switch to pilot, and then you hold it in. You'll hear the gas starting to fill the chamber there, and then you start to press this igniter button. And could take 30 to 90 seconds of just kind of click, 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 but you'll eventually see your little pilot light go from just being a little spark to an actual pilot. It'll be a little flame in there. Once you have your flame, this status light is going to turn on. So once you have your blinking status light, you let go of pilot, you'll hear the burner turn on as you turn this to your heat setting. So that tiny little pilot light will go and light up, and you'll hear that gas and the burner start to work and heat this water heater up. You should remain with this status light blinking after the water heater is working. And as plumbers, we always leave the water heater on setting A and inform the customer that if they would like to raise the temperature of the heater, they can go ahead and change that. But these settings do get hot really fast, and you have to be careful about scalding hot water. So we always just leave them on A and let the customer turn the water heater up if they'd like to. This water heater does have a brass escape hatch, so when we come back to flush this here in 6 months to a year, that's good. We won't have to worry about that leaking. And then really it's just a general check. Make sure that you don't have any water anywhere. Make sure you've cleaned your area, vacuum everything up, do a final check, look at everything, and then give it about 10 or 15 minutes in the course of cleaning up. Should be enough time for you to get some warm water going in this thing. Before you leave the customer's house, you need to check and make sure that the water is getting hot. Literally 10, 15 minutes, you should have warm water. If you can't get any type of warm water, you need to go back and diagnose the water heater. Don't leave the customer and say, oh, give it an hour or two and it should be warm. 15 minutes is all you should need to get some warm water going in that house if the heater is operating properly. So that's all there really is to it. Give us a call, Mr. Reuter, San Antonio, 210-247-4900.